So the role of finance is clearly to hunt for value and to drive value. And I believe and we believe that S&OP is a source of not just operational excellence, but through that a source of great value. Therefore, it's a very natural fit that finance and finance colleagues should be not only interested in driving S&OP, but embrace it wholeheartedly, simply because it's a source of great value for the business.
Good. So you touched on the importance of value.
Mm-hmm.
You know that last year Unilever introduced the volume-value disconnect measure. How did you get the organization here to actually care for both volume and value?
So it's interesting, I've been asked this question before, and I'm not quite sure whether we started to sort of create that alignment between volume and values. That's the honest answer. But I think I'll tell you what we did. What we tried to do was to step back and say, what's the best way to make S&OP a success? And quite simply, it is to drive a single plan, the single heartbeat through which the entire rhythm of the organization runs. And when you do that well, having an alignment of volume and value becomes a very natural outcome rather than a top-down force-fit measure. So I don't think we kind of made a very concerted attempt. It was an outcome of the basic belief and core actions we were driving. Then of course at the edges there were certain technical points on how we could have improved that alignment, which we drove separately, but that's very secondary. Primary reason was one set of plans.
People moving. I know that, and even if you notice, the board member of Unilever Philippines is 4 of them is expat, so they will be moving. So we try as much as possible that S&OP is embedded in the organization, not only at the PSLT level but below us. That's why if you notice, Kat Gracia from finance, Sar from CD, and then B from supply chain are actually the one who pretty much leads the S&OP, not the board. We intentionally, by intention, not try as much as possible, not try to lead the S&OP by ourselves, but letting the second level of us leading. Yeah. So that's number one. Number two, I asked B to create a module of S&OP, and I think it's now ready, and a lot forcing the people to get the education from that module. And definitely now it is that the module is for supply chain, but what we want, working together with HR, that module should be for everyone in the business. Yeah. And it is also tricky that I think with the help of tools, we can less dependent on the people. Yeah, and I think RL is helping a lot in building the database of the MI, database of the knowledge in demand planning. So if we are able to create a tools which enable everyone, even though it's new, talking like a experienced demand planning, then every time when we change the people, it's going to be very easy. Yeah. So education plus tools plus continuously improve by benchmarking each other amongst the country. I think that should be making the Unilever Philippines sustain the S&OP, and even in the future will be better. So that's what I want.
So the way I look at S&OP, I think it's a critical part of our 4G agenda, because it's essentially one of the important activity systems that drives a consistent and sustainable growth rhythm. Importantly, I see S&OP actually as an engine, sort of a process that binds the entire company, aligns it, creates a rhythm around the business, and essentially gives us one platform around which to optimize our operations. So for me, it's essentially the sort of the Intel inside, the chip or the engine that drives the entire company, and glues it all together. So I don't think I can function or be in a lead of an operating company without having a process that essentially does that.
So I would say here what we do is that it's just like actually no different from where we would look at our top team of say board, or say looking at work level 3s and their succession, who are the 3 guys who can replace them, do they have the right requisite skills, and like that. Similarly, what we've done is that S&OP we've also mapped each individual. So one, we ensure that we put in the best guys there, and secondly, we also proactively see when the time is come, or maybe if sudden attrition can happen, then we do have a slate of 2-3 other successors who are there, who are good, identified, and who can move into that role. So I would say that is one, is that to take care of proactively or a reactive strategy, both, to ensure that S&OP as a process, this team doesn't have long standing vacancies and all that. So that's one. Secondly is also looking at that, while the guys are there, is that because we would like to put high profile people here. So which essentially means is that, we would really like to also focus on, they should know that they are doing important job, plus also they should feel that they are being strongly developed. And there are a lot of things, because we have the whole board sitting there. And so typically the type of discussions, the challenges and all that are there, that itself, is a hugely developmental impact on people. Plus we also in addition have an IDP for each person in terms of which is aligned to their next career wish, but then people behind who are coming into succession in the S&OP role, the next role, the S&OP role, is part of their IDP. The 70-20-10, the 70% is coming from there.